Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Business. Equity benchmarks ended the volatile day lower as the shares of pharmaceutical companies declined through the day. Sensex traded above the 62,000 mark intraday, the most in nearly 5 months, but closed down 36 points at 61,904. The Nifty was down 18 points and shut shop at 18,297. Hiral Dadia with the wrap of all the market action. Hiral?
It has been an interesting day of trade. Clearly, we've seen major gyrations and fluctuations in the red and from the red to the green. If you see in terms of Nifty 50 as well in today's session, we hit a low of 18,270 and a high of 18,389 in intraday trade. Finally, a closure below the 18,300 mark is what we witnessed. Clearly, there was outperformance that did come in from Bank Nifty in today's session, wherein if you see Bank Nifty as well, we ended with gains of little over 150 points above the 43,450 mark in trade today. So clearly there has been some bit of momentum with regards to Bank Nifty, and that's what the technical charts are also indicating. If you see in terms of individual stock specific action, specifically on Nifty 50 stocks like Adani Enterprises was up in trade. Asian Paints on the back of earnings saw gains in today's session. HUL, Adani Ports as well as NTPC. Whereas on the losing end, Dr. Reddy's reacted to numbers with cuts of almost 7%. L&T, Hindalco, Divis Laboratories as well as JSW Steel. These were few of the top losers as well from Nifty 50. Moving on, if you see in terms of sector-specific action, it was the FMCG sector which ended with gains of around 0.5% and the top-performing sector, whereas there was pressure in terms of where the pharma names go, and it was Nifty Pharma which was the top losing sector as well in today's session. In terms of other individual counters as well, if you see in terms of the newsmakers today, Newland Laboratories, a 20% upper circuit in intraday trade, and this was on the back of a spectacular set of numbers. Gujarat Gas and MGL have been picking up momentum on the back of Q4 numbers. Ratnamani Metals also posted a strong set of numbers. Ujjivan Small Finance again was moving on the back of numbers. Sanofi India saw smart gains as well on the back of numbers, as well as the demerger news that did come in yesterday's session, as well as NBCC, which was up in trade on the back of the order win. So there were a couple of counters that hit a 52-week high today as well. So ABB, again a 52-week high. Indigo, that's actually bearing the fruits of what's happening with Go Air. ONGC at a 52-week high. Tata Motors is seeing some strong momentum, as well as a Bajaj Auto as well. So these were few of the names that were at a 52-week high. So overall, an interesting weekly expiry with outperformance coming in from Bank Nifty, and expectation is there could be consolidation that could be on the cards from here on.
Many thanks, Hiral. Let's move on now. BharatPe and Ashneer Grover are again at loggerheads. The Economic Offences Wing of Delhi Police have registered an FIR against Ashneer Grover and his family after a fresh complaint from BharatPe. Rishabh Bhatnagar is joining in with the details. Rishabh?
That's right. A fresh FIR has been filed by the Economic Offences Wing of the Delhi Police against controversial BharatPe co-founder Ashneer Grover and his family members. The FIR has been filed after a fresh complaint from BharatPe and names Ashneer Grover, his wife Madhuri Jain Grover, brother-in-law Deepak Gupta, who was the head of procurement at BharatPe, and 2 other members from Madhuri Jain's family. Now, the FIR has been filed under 8 sections of the IPC, including Section 420 and 120B. BharatPe has alleged that Grover and his family caused damages of approximately 80 crore rupees. The allegations include Grover being involved in illegitimate payments being made to bogus HR consultants, inflated payments made to pass-through vendors, input tax credit fraud, and destruction of evidence by Madhuri Jain. Now, this is the latest development in a prolonged battle that BharatPe and Grover have been locked in for over a year now. The company had last year filed a civil lawsuit against Grover alleging misappropriation of funds.
Well, and Mankind Pharma, the company that made its stock market debut on Tuesday, is in trouble. According to official sources, the Income Tax Department has conducted searches on the premises of the company over allegations of tax evasion. The Delhi office of Mankind Pharma was raided by the IT department and people were questioned as well. The company, however, has not confirmed this news. On Tuesday, Mankind Pharma's stock listed on the exchange at a price of 1,300 rupees with a premium of 20.37%. The stock plunged 5% intraday following the news of the raid. Now, the centre has done away with import duty on sunflower and soya bean oil. The government has allowed duty-free imports until June. What does it mean for farmers and Indian consumers? Janani Janardhanan is joining in with the details.
The government has done away with the customs duty in agriculture development cess for crude edible oil such as sunflower seed and soybean oil till the 30th of June until TRQ is achieved. Now, TRQ stands for Tariff Rate Quota, which is the volume of imports that come into India at a specific, or in this case, nil duty. On achieving the quota, the normal tariff rate will be applicable for additional imports. In May last year, the government had invited applications for allocation of TRQ for 20 lakh metric tons of these oils for 2 years. However, this year, due to higher production, the government saw fit to withdraw the TRQ allocation for FY 23-24. Experts feel globally the prices have seen a steep fall, and in order to control the pricing and ensure farmers' interest, this is an encouraging move. This allows importers to utilize the allocated TRQ by the government until the extended timeline of 30th June. Post this, the focus will be to utilize the domestic production and support farmers who have excess production lying with them at remunerative prices for their crop. Once the exemption is withdrawn, one might even see a slight increase in prices as these products will then be applicable to customs duty. That's all we have for you from the studio.
Well, and crude oil is back above the $75 per barrel mark. The crude prices have remained volatile for some time now. The downturn has been caused by the US possibly entering a recession, lack of demand momentum from China, as well as the subpar Russian crude disruptions. Hiral spoke with Probal Sen to understand what the future holds for crude oil.
Russian crude has largely managed to still actually flow encumbered, which has boosted the bearish trend in crude as well, as you've been mentioning. Now, what would a break in an anomaly like this actually mean from here on?
Well, I think very clearly, once the sort of inventories start to, again, in fact, what will also happen is that once the signals start coming through that inventory is starting to rebuild, you will start to see crude prices ramp back up, because one critical factor and one critical unknown here, as you rightly mentioned, is are there any other disruptions of Russian crude that we could see in the markets? Frankly, we have no idea how or in what shape the conflict will be 6 months down the line, whether there could be even more of sanctions, there could be a more effective implementation of pricing sanctions or, physical sanctions on Russian crude. See, I would think that, earlier also the OPEC countries have indicated that somewhere between 80 to 85 is a level that they would aspire to keep crude at. I think they have repeatedly also stated that they do not support runaway prices, because that tends to have a demand destructive effect down the line, which is not something that's conducive to their interests. So the effective range, therefore, my sense is that, given the kind of deficit that exists, I wouldn't be surprised if crude does, touches $85 by the end of the year. I think that is a level that one would probably look at. Obviously, it's very difficult to sort of put an exact range on it because of the kind of financial speculation that happens, the geopolitical events that can influence it. But based on physical market signals and, what is going on in terms of demand, I would say that $85 is a reasonable level to expect by the end of the year.
That's it then on Let's Talk Business. Taking a very quick break now. News and updates will continue. Stay with us.